So what I'm doing here, this is just about getting soft edges. I'm going to put my, well, there's two, I'm going to show two ways. I'm putting some yellow color down first. And this won't show getting soft edges very well because it's so pale. But I'm going to come in now and I'm going to build in, I'm using some thicker color. And because I'm using thicker color, it's going to run up in here and be soft, but it's not going to move very fast because it's thicker. It won't flow as easily. So it's real easy to get that soft graduated edge. And now I'm going to dry my brush off because I want to be sure that I don't get extra water into the paint that I'm using. Now I could come down further down here on the petal and with a stronger dark. Again, this is the thicker paint. And so I'm going to pull it up this way into here just a little bit. And if it's a little too blobby, you know, sometimes you might actually want little things like that to happen, but let's just say that you don't. I'm getting the extra water out of the brush, and then I can just kind of tease this along to hurry it up there. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show, though, was getting a soft edge on dry paper. And so I'm going to put a soft edge over here on this petal without putting the yellow in. So what I'm doing is, running out of color here. Well, this will work. This is good. This is good. So I'm putting in color. Whoop. Just getting a little bit sloppy here. I'm going to put in color. This, you know what, this might be hard to see because of the masking fluid. So I've got in color here, and it's relatively strong, but I want a soft edge here. So let's see, I think I want that little spot there to be darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm washing my brush out, and I'm washing my brush out, and I'm raking it off here on the side real good. All of this can vary depending on what kind of brush you're using. But here's the thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to soften this edge, and I'm coming at it from the far side like this so that I can lay my brush down. And you can do this with a flat brush too. Sometimes that's easier to use. And I am just touching the edges of the paint. So I get a soft edge. Sometimes, let's get that. I'm going to coax a little more of it out here, get that a little bit stronger. Sometimes I make a new edge up here when I do that. And so what I do is I come back, and again, I am just touching the edge here. So that gets it to flow. A lot of the time what goes wrong, do this. A lot of the time when people are trying to do this, can you hand me my palette back? I should have gotten a lot more color out. I'll just use this. Okay, thank you. Okay. A lot of the time what happens with this is I've seen people, they've got their color out, and now they want to soften the edge. And they're turning this way, and they're trying to do this to soften the edge. I've seen that a lot lately and finally realized that that's what's going wrong with a lot of people. Well, when I do it, it works, but it's not supposed to. Okay, but it's really best to approach it from the far side. And you're laying that brush down, so that brush is putting water on the paper, but you're just going to touch the edge like this. And then you see how much it flows. And you may have to make adjustments or not. You know, sometimes you have to come in with a dry brush and kind of tickle it around, or sometimes too much flows out and you have to pull some of it back the other way. That can happen too. But there, I've got like a water neutral brush. It's damp, but it's not going to let down water. So I can use it to steer the paint around. Okay, that's how that's done. I think that I was doing with color here. This is just getting some base color down. I haven't done that with y'all at all, right? So we're gonna work the outside. Pretend this is painted because I didn't. All right. So I am using cobalt teal. And I'm going to use some raw sienna. Let's see here. I'll put a place over here for raw sienna. Quite a bit of raw sienna. And I could, if I wanted some more light areas, I might pick up a little yellow ochre. Now what I'm doing is, and you could use your nickel azo and your queen gold if you wanted to. I was trying to make this a little more quiet at the same time that it's actually not going to be quiet, especially not after we add the, can't say it.
The cobalt?
No, the
Purple.
Quinn
Violet.
Quinn Violet could not do that. I've been like that my whole life. It's not not recent dementia. That's yeah.
Long time dementia.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. So I'm working on dry paper, and I'm gonna put a lot of raw sienna down, or maybe the yellow ochre, whatever. Just
It's Quinn Gold and what?
no, that's raw sienna.
Raw sienna.
Raw
And
sienna.
that's for the background.
This is for the background. So, and you're saying what? Okay.
She heard me.
So, yeah, because I knew exactly you would be saying and what? Because that's what you say. That's where I learned it, I guess. So, I'm going to soften my edges here so that I can come back to that and not have a, where I can mesh it in with the next step. Okay. So here's my cobalt teal, and this is going to make some nice greens. Or oh dear, that is supposed to be background right there. I got cobalt teal down first here. Okay.
I don't think
so,
I have cobalt teal.
Oh, well, I have a whole tube, so
good.
don't worry. So now, what we don't want is we don't want an even distribution. We want this to vary a little bit. So let's just, whoa, I got a lot down there. Well, so let's just play with it a little bit. Let's thin it out in some places. Well, here I need to soften that edge. Whoa, looky there. See how the cobalt teal is already not wanting to move? It's kind of setting in the paper. So I'm going to show you magical stuff here in a minute. At least I think it's going to be magic. You can't count on magic.
What green is that?
That is cobalt teal.
Cobalt
Yeah.
teal.
It's mixed with the other. All right. So I've got something like this happening. And the other thing that happens is if I decide I want to blot some areas, what will happen is when I blot the raw sienna, even though it went down first, it washes up more easily than the cobalt teal. And so I will actually wind up with more cobalt teal areas. Of course, that was kind of mixed. So partly I might blot just to create some texture, because once you've got a dry area and you get a wet area next to it, you can kind of get some runbacks and just textural things. The other thing, though, is you don't want too much texture. You just want a little bit of fairly subtle texture. I'm trying to decide if that's too strong. I don't know. I might have to go back over it later. I think I'll leave that. Let's go do another area. Now, all of this, you're going to come back with I think I'll go for a lighter lighter spot over here. And I think I'm going to paint all the way out to here. Just wet, soupy stuff. Oop. You can do a better job than me. Okay. Just don't want to take too long doing this. That's my excuse. Oop. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
some splatter.
Yeah, there we go.
We like splatters,
I like splatters.
especially on the table.
So, okay, let's soften that edge a little bit. Whoa. And let's come back with our teal. Maybe I was going to add less teal here, but I just seem to have a better mixture of teal, or the teal is a little stronger. So I was going to keep it paler so we got a nice green. Because this will make a really nice green there. See, that's a nice green. Nice, subtle, soft green. On the other hand, these teal areas, when you come back with that quinacridone violet, these teal areas are going to be glorious. Okay. So maybe I'll, see that right down there? It's all this stuff.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't do your feet up before.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea.
It would have been worse without it. It would have been worse. I never could do arithmetic either because you had to be able to think the numbers, and I couldn't. There's a spot in there that just gets stuck.
Well, you're a creative,
Yeah.
not a
well,
calculator.
you have to be creative to get around it. Find ways to hide it. I don't do that very well either. So, you know, maybe I'll keep some of this a little more desert looking. I don't know. And this is going to be, we might suggest, you know, those, what do you call a cactus leaf? A pad or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We might,
Cactus leaf.
yeah, cactus leaf will do, I guess. I don't know. But you see, we want mostly soft edges. We want mostly soft edges. We don't want this to get too busy because we're going to have the opportunity to add a lot more busyness on the next stage. Every time I use that word stage, I think of cancer.
Really? I
Yeah.
think of the Wild West.
That would be much better.
Come in on the stage.
So anyway, you are kind of inventing this background however you want it to be. And you can put a little bit, you know, that texture's not bad there. That might be just a little too plain over here.
Mm-hmm.
So what I might want to do is I could wait and spatter it. But another way to do that is to blot, because you will make some places that are now drier. So now when I put water in here, I can get some back runs. Because I do get impatient sometimes. And now I'll get a little bit of a back run there, maybe. Well, maybe. All right. So, something like that. You know, you're inventing it any way you want this color to move. This was no particular brilliant plan of how I wanted the color to move. Over from this way. Okay. And I didn't actually do the bottoms of them. I don't know that I'll actually do the bottoms. We'll see. So,
When you say pads, that's the things that look sort of like cactus leaves?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cactus brown.
Okay. So, now we're going to work with maybe a little bit more of the cobalt teal. And we're going to get out the quinacridone violet. Now, here's the thing about quinacridone violet. It's pretty staining. It's a pretty strong staining color. And at one time, I had a lot of people order quinacridone purple when they came out with that, because I was so proud.
Yeah.
They had an actual quinacridone purple. But it was pretty dull, and it was extremely staining. I mean, it was almost hard to work with. It was so stainy. So my suggestion is that when you want a purple, that you go ahead and use your, you can mix purples different ways. There are different intensities of purples, so on and so forth. But if you want something close to a quinacridone, that you use the quinacridone violet and then add ultramarine blue to it to make it cooler, more blue. So, all right. But I'm not doing that today. I just thought I'd mention that because I want to make things as confusing as possible.
Okay, will you send us a note on that?
Yeah.
Success.
So, let's see. And these two colors together. See, we just, yeah, and there we get a nice, look at the blue you get here. That's just a nice,
Periwinkle.
yeah,
Yeah.
sort of.
Now,
So
what blue is that?
that is just the mixture of these
Okay,
two.
okay.
And and I can't say that I was planning on that. That was, again, one of those accident things. So this makes, because this is dulled down a little bit, this makes it kind of a nice way to negatively paint around part of the pad. I don't want to overly outline the whole pad. I just want a little bit of this. And the other, oh, here. Yeah, okay. So just make some things happen up there. See, with just extra water. That's what I like about this brush. You could just almost stamp things down and just make those unintentional looking mess ups. They're perfect. I did want to blot that though. I don't want that dark yet. Yeah, okay, there. So let's come along here like that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to soften this as I come down. And then I'm going to add the tiniest bit of water around here. I want to soften this edge, but I don't want to just make a, whole lot of color come down. But I'm just barely touching the edge while it's still moist. And so that's keeping it from looking flat like it was just cut out and stuck down. Now, this is obviously going to be a very abstracted effect, but that gives it, a little bit of softness there. Oh, let's see. Maybe I want more of that. Again, this is just sort of discovering. Okay, maybe some of that. Do I want it to look more cactusy? Do I want more raw sienna in that? Let's see, maybe I want this to look a little more like it's been out in the heat. Okay. So maybe I'll do, I don't know. I'm not happy. Okay. Let's make a little something textural there, and then let's go ahead and it's got those little, okay, that's too wet. Oh, never mind. We'll wait. Yeah, I want the sticker things to be purpley, but I can't do that yet. So let's come over here. Let's see what we're going to do with this one overlapping that one. And so I'm playing it safe here, and I'm just using the same mixture because it looked like it was working okay. Let's just add some more water out here. Oh, and we're going to get some on top of this back pedal thingy, whatever. That Friday class worked me to death over the right names for stuff on this. It was a screaming match. I'm not kidding you.
They sound serious.
There's a
Aren't you
reason I
glad
got a cowbell in
You
there.
have us.
Yeah, we're easy.
You are. I don't mean that to, I don't want you to feel bad about being
No,
easy.
we like being
Okay,
easy.
all right, okay.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want you to overdo being easy either, you know. So I've made kind of a tent back there with a real pale wash. I got a little stronger here. And let's go ahead and let's see about softening that edge on this one. I didn't wipe that off enough. So if it's starting to dry in here, I have to brush a little bit harder to get it loose. Or I might just, you know what, let's just make a soft total thing there, and then I'll have to come back and make that edge stand out more. So, okay, stuff like that. Now, here's the thing. You could put your pads in a totally different place. You don't have to have pads at all. You can do other things. Let's put a little more blue there. Why? Just because, you know? So it was a little stronger blue there, and then it faded that way. So I'm just doing things. So let's see. This is getting, what I want is, I want it to lose the sheen. Okay, most of it has. Because I want it to lose the sheen but still be wet. Should still feel very cool to the touch. Because then I'll get soft edged little ditties there. Obviously, where it's wetter, we get bigger, softer ones. Don't want too many. You know, you want to do the whole thing. That's going to be pretty soft. You might even want to add something to it later, or, you know, if you decide one's too prominent or too big, you know, give it a swipe, do things to it. You know, you're just playing with this and building something up. Like I said, you don't even have to do pads. You can just do marks if you want of whatever colors you like. But this is something I liked. Okay, so this is what I thought worked well. Then we've got these things. They have another name.
Sepals.
Sepals. Okay, thank you. All right. And those could be, you could pick a couple of different colors, okay? So I think they need to vary from the petals. Mm-hmm. But you could use some raw sienna and mix and use some Queen Burnt Scarlet, for instance. You know, this center part in here is darker. See, it looks kind of rusty. Mm-hmm. So you could use some a mixture, but you know, with Queen Burnt Scarlet, make it pretty strong and dark in there. Maybe stronger than what this is. There are places. There's one right there. There's one. Oh, there used to be one. There's one. So that could come out to be light over dark, or it could be a dark over a light, for instance. I had another person that came in and made these centers violet. It looked wonderful, you know. So there's all kinds of ways to play with this, and you might have another idea. I'm not saying that those are the only two ideas. I'm just saying
Are there
that that's.
some other greens that we could use?
Yeah, I guess. You kind of have to mix them. I mean,
Yeah,
with what I've
right.
got, yeah.
Yeah.
So you could do a different mixture that makes you a different green, or definitely could. So I suggest playing with whatever you want, and then of course this little thing here in the center, that's green, you know, and you could play with that. In fact, oh here's some phthalo blue. I just put a thin bit of phthalo blue on that. Let's see what.
Oh, that's pretty.
So you could add a little. Now here's the other thing. Before you pull up masking, and I don't want to throw too many different things at you at once. But some people are in different places with this anyway. I still think this needs to get deeper. On this one, I got deeper and I got orangier, and I thought I took it a little over the top. I think it needs to have, it needs to go darker but a little bit duller. Let's just see what this would do. Oh, that's still brighter than what I wanted. Where's that phthalo green? See what this does. So if you do this, what you're looking to have happen is you're looking for this to be dry so that this is just an additive on top. You don't want it to push the other color away. You just want it to make some areas a little darker. So you see what you think. Oh, by the way, mentioning phthalo green. Phthalo green is another thing that does wonderful things with this violet. You know, kind of like this, but it goes a little dark. Oh, there. That's what I wanted to use. Yeah. So it just kind of goes a little, it's more transparent, goes a little deeper, darker. But these two together just halate. They do this beautiful thing to your brain when you look at them together. You know, so go forth and